Good morning, Dan, and in for Amy this morning is Kristen McQuarrie, Chicago Tribune editorial board, and that music means it's time to talk to the next Treasury Secretary. He is Heritage Foundation Chief Economist Steve Moore. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
So here's my question. We've got political and policy counselors across the range of issues. Trump seems to be taking a triumvirate approach, much like Reagan did with Deaver, Meese, and Baker. He's got Conway, Priebus, and Bannon. Will he take a triumvirate approach when it comes to economic policy with Moore, Kudlow, and Laffer?
Well, that would be a dream come true, I think, for me and a lot of conservatives. I don't know how it's going to all shake out. It's a lot of elbowing and jabbing, and it's interesting. Dan, a lot of people, as you know, gave me, I think maybe even you, were giving me a lot of grief when I signed on with Donald Trump,
yes.
4 or 5 months ago, and now all these people are calling me, Steve, old buddy, old pal, never comfort. You give me a dollar at the Commerce Department. It's that way. I mean, there's too many conservatives who want to work for the government. We're not going to have more government employees. We're going to have less. So
right.
You'll get a kick out of this. I was at a transition meeting on Monday with all the kind of major people running each of the agencies and stacking them. And one of the people they detailed over his career civil service said, "Will there be reductions in force?" And the guy in charge said, "There's not going to be reductions in force. There's going to be reductions with force." So we want to downsize the government, and it's going to be look. Let me say this to you guys. I really believe, just having been around the transition people, knowing the people who are trying to find the right people to find the right positions. From a personnel point of view, this will be a more conservative administration than Ronald Reagan's.
Really? Wow, that's a statement.
Look, I mean, the people here are the people who are in charge of the transition. Ed Fulner, the former president of the Heritage Foundation, and Ed Meese, who was Ronald Reagan's counselor, and the guys who are doing the agencies. I mean, these are hardcore conservatives who really are on a mission. And I love the fact. I mean, the New York Times says bedlam and chaos in the transition office. No. What happened is the kind of lobbyists that Chris Christie had wanted to put in are gone. We're going to drain the swamp, and if we're going to drain the swamp, we can't have people who are in the swamp, telling us how to do it.
Well,
we're off to a good start.
That's actually very good news. And the other thing you have to guard against is the political operative types. And I've seen some names. Yeah. I won't get into the names, but I've seen some names that are senior advisors to the transition team. Blah blah blah. You have to keep those kids that are too cool for school and are just looking to line their pockets and have access away from personnel decisions, too.
I mean, I think this president's serious about a lifetime ban. If you want to go into government, no more revolving door, where you go into government, then go lobbying, and then going back into government. A lifetime ban on lobbying from Congress or from the executive branch. And you want to talk about getting rid of the swamp. Cleaning it up, that would be a huge thing to do. And I think these guys are serious. I mean, they want to downsize government in a very big way. I'll give you just one example. I mean, you guys are going to love this. So do you know that, I'm sure you both heard of the Consumer Finance Protection Board, the thing that Elizabeth Warren created.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So I was in one of the transition meetings, and we were talking about, of course, we want to get rid of that. And I said to the guy who's in charge, I said, how many employees do they have? Because remember, Obama only created that a few years ago. Oh, he said, I think we estimate about 14. Oh, I said, they got 14 employees. He said, no, not 14, 1,400.
1,400.
They have 1,400 people, and they're building a $300 million new building. Stop the construction. We don't need it.
So how soon, Stephen Moore, after reading all of your pieces over the years on corporate welfare, how can we count on you to get rid of the corporate welfare queens within the first 100 days of the administration? Please.
I don't think we could do it in 100 days, but I think it is a very, very high priority. You and I have talked about this many times. The Tribune's been excellent on this, and I think it's fantastic that Trump has made corporate welfare a priority. For example, I mean, do we really need a Department of Energy? Do we need a Department of Commerce? I'll tell you another thing that Donald Trump is very serious about. The Department of Education, which was created by Jimmy Carter, spends about $50 to $60 billion a year, and there's no evidence that it's ever actually helped schools. In fact, there's some evidence that it actually hurts schools. Trump wants to take $20 billion of that and just give it to parents whose kids have to go to schools that have been declared failing schools. So, a lot of those are in Chicago, Washington, D.C., Cleveland, Newark, and give that money straight to the parents and go around the education blob. That would be a fantastic thing to do, and we might even get some value for that money.
That would be a fantastic thing to do. Just block grant that budget to as you say, families that are discriminated against based on their household income and address, and give them scholarships to have the same choices that Tiny Dancer has for his kids. No, that would be tremendous. That alone, just as a leading indicator of reestablishing federalism in this country, would be so welcome. Wow.
But I've read that.
Now, and I want to give Kristen a little brief here, if I may.
Yes, please.
Please do.
I think you guys at the Tribune punted. I don't respect the decision you made editorially. I understand you chose Gary Johnson. You endorsed Johnson. This was a binary choice. Either Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump was going to be the next president. And I just don't get that, frankly. I don't understand how you could not endorse Donald Trump, who is going to be a strong conservative. Like, there are a lot of things about Donald Trump I don't like. But between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, how in the world could you not endorse Donald Trump?
Well, so pivoting back to the corporate tax rate. No, I'm kidding. Those decisions, I mean, Stephen, those decisions are not, it was not unanimous. We have a very diverse board, and those decisions come from on high when we are making a presidential endorsement.
I worked for an editorial board too. I'm just giving you.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Steve, you have.
I do know. I mean, a lot of people commented that. I had a lot of friends from Chicago who called me and said the Tribune did not endorse Trump, and I'm like, wow. I just think that there's a clear choice.
Well, nobody endorsed Trump.
I like Gary Johnson. I'm a libertarian, as you know, Kristen, but he didn't. Where did he end up getting? By the way, 3 or 4% or something like that.
Yeah, but Steve, you haven't been in Chicago enough. You're vastly understating the virulent strain of Stockholm Syndrome that afflicts people in this city and state.
I've lived there. I know exactly what you mean. And look, a lot of people in this town suffer. But even the Republicans, like, oh, we can't do that. We can't do this. Yes, we can. Why can't we? We can get rid of these departments. We can downsize these agencies. I mean, I got another statistic. I mean, I'm just finding out the most amazing things. The Medicare department, their own auditors, say that we have a $50 billion a year fraud. $50 billion of fraudulent payments. Now, it turns out that's a 12.5% fraud rate. Now, do you know what? You guys want to take a guess what the fraud rate is at Visa and American Express?
Under 1%.
0.7.
Under 1%, yeah, about half a percentage point. So we have a fraud rate by the way, the same thing with food stamps and so on. The fraud rate is 20 times higher than it is in the private sector, and nobody does a damn thing about it. It's just stealing money from the taxpayers. They say there's thousands and thousands of people who are over the age of 105 that are getting Social Security benefits. How many people do you think are alive in this country that are over the age of 105?
So what can Republican voters expect realistically? What can we hold this administration accountable for in 2 years when you have all three branches? Give me the measurement. Give me 3 things that better happen.
I like that, and I want you guys to hold us accountable. By the way, I really honestly don't know if I'm going to go into the administration or not, but if I'm on the outside, I'll be poked. Guys, too. We got to do our tax cut. We've got to repeal all the Obamacare executive orders. And by the way, with that, you'll know within a week or so if we do that. You've got to see if we're going to be serious about, expanding American energy. Right, the oil and gas, and let's start drilling on federal lands and raise money and increase output. And let's see what we do for cities. I mean, I think this is the first president ever in modern times who actually wants to rebuild American cities, the inner cities. As Donald Trump said, the liberals have done nothing for the inner cities except made them dependent on welfare. We are very serious about bringing enterprise and jobs and safety back to our cities, and no city should respect that more than Chicago.
Now, what about Congress? You mentioned some.
We have to talk about that.
Well, I mean, because we've got some weak-kneed Republicans there. I mean, the idea that there was a move that was properly derailed, but a move to reestablish earmarks. I mean, what the hell are they thinking?
Can you believe it? Can you believe how stupid these people are?
No, I can, but I don't like it.
You don't understand it. Remember what show was that? Get Smart, the Code of Silence. Remember?
Yes, the Cone of Silence. Cone of Silence. Yes.
There's like a cone of silence over Washington, D.C. They just, even after a week ago Tuesday, they still don't get it. These people, I mean, they're unbelievably stupid.
Well, thanks for joining us from your shoe phone, Steve Moore. We appreciate it. Chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, and we'll see where Steve Moore ends up in the Trump administration or on the outside, continuing to advocate for free markets.
I don't want to give up my spot on your radio show.
No,
so if they make me do that, I'm not taking a job. I guarantee that.
You gotta have
it's
deal breakers.
It's high paying, Stephen.
Gotta have deal breakers. Thanks, Steve. And he joined us on the Turnkey.pro answer line.